robocalls that just won't quit. Someone wants to help you get your stimulus check faster, or they're trying to sell you a fake vaccine ID card. Scammy Sammy just doesn't quit. Today on Two Wants to Know, we're talking all about the ways to protect yourself from falling into any of those traps. So who is the best person to talk to about this? Well, Attorney General Josh Stein is with us for the next 15 minutes to talk about those important topics and more, and to take your questions. You can start texting your questions for the North Carolina Attorney General to 336-379-5775, and we'll ask your questions as they come up in the queue. All right, first and foremost, let's talk robocalls, because everybody hates them, everybody gets them, and you just had a case with them.
Yeah, a big case. Really proud. It was a partnership with some other states and the Federal Trade Commission against a telemarketer called Associated Community Services, or ACS. And they called supposedly on behalf of charities for veterans, for children, and firefighters. But they would take up to 90% of the proceeds for themselves, and the money wouldn't even go to help the causes that they said that they were calling on behalf of. They took about $110 million from charitable Americans, really unfortunate, and we shut them down. They got to go out of business, and they can't do those kinds of calls anymore. And we're trying to make sure that these robocallers that are they made 1.3 billion phone calls, Tanya, to 67 million Americans. That's about one out of every 5 people in the country got one of these phone calls. So we're trying to go after the bad actors to bring a little peace and quiet to our homes and our phones.
Yeah, and we absolutely love the idea that they had to go out of business. Now, you sent us a graphic so that we could use it for folks about what should you do when you get a call. Do you answer it or not?
The best thing to do is just hang up. Don't answer it. Most of them won't even leave you a message. There was actually a study that showed that North Carolinians are the number 2 state most likely to answer robocalls. And I think it's because we're polite. People in the South generally are kind, and when somebody calls you, you answer the phone. But what they do when they get people on the phone, particularly vulnerable people, is they put a hook in them and reel them in and steal their money. So if you just hang up, if you never say yes, then you can be assured that nobody will be defrauded.
Yeah, if it's not a phone number that you recognize, you don't need to answer the phone. They'll leave a message. And we do have a text question about that. They're saying that they do have an app which screens their calls. And so the block call comes in, their voice message answers it. They're like, okay, can I stop the block calls altogether? Because they leave a message, and that frustrates me too.
Well, there's not going to be a perfect answer. We're never going to get rid of them altogether, but our goal is to reduce the number of these calls that we get. And that technology is good because most robocallers will not leave a message. That's not to say that there aren't some that will, but most of them won't. And that way, at least if it's a legitimate caller from a number you don't recognize, they can leave a message and you can call them back whenever you're ready.
Yeah, and if it's the robocall, you just hit delete, 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 and you just know that you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Of course, the next text question was all about the car warranty calls. I know you've gotten them as well. We hope that one day you'll be able to find them too.
Well, we did. We sued a guy in Texas who made 75 million car warranty calls into North Carolina. And while that case is ongoing, he can't make any more phone calls into North Carolina. Now, I know there are other people out there, and we're trying to go after them as well. And we're in partnership with the phone companies where they cooperate with our investigations of these robocallers. But I also want to hold the phone companies. There's certain telephone service providers, not the big ones that you're familiar with, but some smaller outfits that make money. They make fractions of a penny off of every call, even the illegal calls that go through their network. And I want them to know their customer and make sure they're legitimate before they allow their systems to be used. And we're going to be investigating some of those phone companies in the coming weeks and months.
All right, you've got your hands in like a lot of different pots of different things. I know that just recently you spearheaded something like 35 other attorney generals or more than that, trying to get fake vaccine cards off of social media.
That's right. Actually, we got 47 attorneys general to join this letter that I authored along with the Attorney General of Tennessee, Herbert Slattery. And this was a bipartisan effort. I mean, people are putting on Twitter and Shopify and eBay fake vaccine cards representing to be from the CDC. That is inherently deceptive and terribly damaging because it will delay the amount of time that we are struggling through COVID-19. You know, temperatures getting warmer, spring is blooming, jobs are being created, and we really want to put COVID-19 in the rearview mirror. But in order for us to do that, as many people need to get vaccinated as possible. And so you can get a vaccine card for free and a vaccine. There's no need to pay for some deceptive card and misrepresent whether you got a vaccine.